Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Chubb Fellowship Lecture with Shah Rukh Khan in collaboration with the South Asian Society. In 1949, Yale alumnus Hendon Chubb funded a speaking fellowship to promote the notion that service to the public good is the highest calling to which a citizen can aspire. According to a visiting speaker, to be named a Chubb Fellow is Yale's most notable honor. Chubb Fellows have included national heads of state, international leaders, Nobel and Pulitzer Prize winners, and a wide range of highly accomplished individuals in politics, business, science, and the arts. The experiences and leadership of these individuals have helped define the challenges of our times and the way that we should seek to address them. All of us at Yale are exceptionally proud to be the first American university to honor Mr. Khan. Mr. Khan, we waited for your arrival eagerly, and having you with us is nothing short of a dream. I'm sure everyone in the audience agrees with me too. Let me just get a general sense. How many of y'all have dreamt of seeing Mr. Shah Rukh Khan? Ladies and gentlemen, all lucky 1,700 of you. Imagine 300,000 times the number of people in this room. Around 3 billion people, 3 times the population of India, or approximately 1 in every 2 people in the world. That is the number of people that recognize Mr. Khan globally. 11 of his movies have grossed over $1 billion. He's been nominated for some 200 awards, won around 150, of which 11 have been the prestigious Best Actor Filmfare Award. And of course, in addition to all of this, he's stolen the heart of countless and countless girls. It is only natural that he's fondly referred to as King Khan. Not only has he ruled Bollywood for the last 2 decades, but he's also reigned over the hearts of millions and millions of people. I want to share a little story about how wonderful a person Mr. Khan is. A very long time ago, when I was a newly admitted Yale, I'd excitedly asked Mr. Khan if he would come visit Yale. And he'd very politely said yes and expressed how important it was to him to engage with students. This year, when I was elected president of the South Asian Society, I decided to take him up on his offer. And so, over winter break, I asked him again. And he very graciously said, "Anytime you call me." And so I waited for April, which is our South Asian Awareness Month, to invite him, not realizing that April is the busiest month on his schedule. Yet, because of the commitment he'd made 4 years ago, Mr. Khan took time out to fly all the way to New Haven from Bombay just to be with us for the day. It is this amazing quality of going out of his way to spread happiness that will never let Mr. Khan leave our dreams. Speaking of dreams, how many of y'all have dreamt of seeing Mr. Khan but never thought it would translate into reality? There are a few people who need to be thanked for translating this dream into reality. First and most foremost, Master Brunzel and Timothy Dwight College, without whom this event would have never been at the scale that it is. Mr. George Joseph, the Office of International Affairs and the India Initiative, for their immense patience and generous support. The South Asia Film Society for running the Shah Rukh Khan Film Festival, the Yale Office of Public Affairs for helping realize this mammoth event, my South Asian Society board for all their hard work and taking SAS to new levels, our membership for being so enthusiastic about our events, and last but not the least, I'd like to thank my mother and Shah Rukh Khan for making this dream come true. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our honor to present to you, for the first time in an American university, the Badshah of Bollywood, King Khan, Shah Rukh Khan.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And thank you very much. It's really nice to be here, and I love you too. Yeah. Good evening. It's really nice to be here. Finally. Yeah, it was a long flight. Thank you, Neeta, for getting me here. Thank you, Isha, for having me over here. And we were detained at the airport, as always, for an hour and a half, which was nice. Yeah, it always happens. It's nice. You know, whenever I start feeling too arrogant about myself, I always take a trip to America. Yeah, the immigration guys kick the star out of stardom. And but I have my small victories. You know, they always ask me how tall I am, and I always lie and get away. 5 feet 10 inches. Next time I'm going to be more adventurous. What color are you? I'm going to say white. Yeah, well, okay. So I'm supposed to be serious here because this is for students and kids. So first of all, let me just thank the faculty and students of the Yale University, fellows of Timothy Dwight College and the Chubb Fellowship, and Master Jeffrey Brenzel for being so kind. Thank you. Yale Office of International Affairs and the Yale South Asian Society. And of course, Isha, for dealing and following up with the most disorganized and incommunicative person in the world, which is me, to fix today's meeting with you all. I'm really, really happy, very humbled, very honored, and thank you for having me over here. Okay, I have memories of, I've been here before. 5 years ago, I was here in Yale. I was doing the song. Some of the shots, you know, the ones at the graveyard, they were shot here. And no, I'm being honest here. And it was very cold. It was, I think, 5th or 6th of December. It was snowing here. And I remember I was doing a song from Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna in the middle, yeah. And I was trying to kiss Rani Mukherjee while mouthing the words. We do that in Bollywood for all the guys who don't know how it is. Yeah, we sing songs and we try to kiss girls at the same time. And I'm being honest, my mouth froze in the middle of Kabhi Alvida Na. Yeah, I had a lockjaw, yeah. So I'm hoping my second outing to Yale is a little better, because otherwise it just won't sound right if I was to get stuck on. I don't know what you guys call yourselves, Yale tides, Yalers? Yeah, that. I hope I don't get stuck at yeah and go beyond that, eh? So I was told not to dwell too much on my movies when I spoke to you. I am to give you an inspirational talk, tell you stuff you can think about when you leave this room. Now that worries me, it gives me performance anxiety. About 1,500 of you here, hoping to hear words of wisdom from this sexy, desirable man who couldn't kiss a girl last time he was in Yale because it was too cold. But I want to tell you right in the beginning, I'm not that guy. I'm sexy and desirable, but I'm not about to leave you any more inspired than you were when you walked in here. And I did this lame joke on Google. Yes, I go to Google and search everything there. Even my next script I'm searching on Google now. And the joke was like this: a dying man gasping for breath desperately gestured to the priest by his side for a piece of paper. With great effort, he then wrote a few words on it, handed it to the priest, and passed away. The priest kept the paper in his pocket and forgot all about it until the final service. Here he suddenly recalled the dead man's last scribble. Unfolding the paper, he told the funeral congregation that he was about to read great words of inspiration from the dying man. He opened the paper. The piece of paper had these words on it: "You are standing on my oxygen tube, you fool." So I'm going to be kind of like that priest. Don't expect words of wisdom from me. I'm just going to tell you my life's journey in very simple words, and which may not leave you inspired, but will help you survive this life. And if you can do that, kids, if you can survive, happiness, creativity, and success will follow on its own. Only I hope my words will give you enough insight when you hear the story that I have to tell you, that you can tell the world, move over, you're standing on my oxygen tube. I need to breathe, yeah. So journeys can be defined by age and time, or even by destinations, as most often they are. But I feel it's hard for me to tell you the story of my life in those terms, because the concept of time has always eluded me. The day my father died seemed longer than my entire childhood. The day I felt my first success seemed fleetingly a hour long, not long enough perhaps. I wondered where it went. Even the cycle of time confounds me. I work the dark until sunrise on most days and fall asleep as the world awakens to light. My friends call me an owl, I like to think of myself as Batman, the Prince of Darkness. As some of you would know, I have a superhero fetish, yeah, so I keep bringing this back. Age, age is not my forte either. I still cannot fix my own. Am I 45 or 15? If I could, would I be romancing girls 1/3 my age who normally would call me uncle? I had so much fun collecting the action figures of my last film called Ra.One that, yeah, that none of the critical reviews tanking my film affected me at all. And as for my destination, I don't think I ever knew one. I walk, I run in the direction of my dreams. Things change along the way, people change, I change, the world changes, and even my dreams change. I don't have a place to arrive. I just keep doing what I know how to do the best that I can do it. I'll probably end up deluded, a geriatric, in a wheelchair, wearing a cape and tights, imagining my own flight out of this world, but of course with a young girl in my arms. So I'll tell you the story of me, but I'll tell it in my own way, in the language of my perceptions, in the things I think matter beyond fame, success, and the dyeing of my gray hair. I have understood that the measure of my life lies in the expanse of my heart's experience, and nothing else matters. If you take anything out of it, good. Otherwise, I've been told by the master, I can put on music and dance for you on Chubb Fellow. Okay, so first of all, yeah, we do that later. I know. People call me to these serious places and then say, oh, forget everything, just do the dance and go back home. Yeah. But I insist you listen to me, okay? Okay, I want to tell you, I have to tell you that I learned a few big words because I was coming to Yale, okay? Yeah. On Google, of course. And so the first one that I'm going to tell you about, so there are three things I want to tell you about this evening. The first one is I'm going to tell you to be a funambulist. Now, yeah, that's a big word, yeah? Impressed? Okay. So that means a tightrope walker. Because a lot of you people, actually all of you, are somehow are going to create things in your life. So a funambulist is like a tightrope walker, okay? So the first word I learned, please give me claps for this new word that I've taught Yale. Yeah. Okay, however I look at it in its eventual analysis, my life has centered around my creativity. I have assimilated the world through creative expression, and in return, the world has experienced me, hopefully. I've grown to understand that on one hand, the world will always uphold creativity as the most honest feeling possible. On the other hand, the potence of fame, the glitz, the glamour, the wealth that arise from this very recognition of creativity will always be questioned. Why do we do that? Because sometimes it allows us to feel better than the creator, and sometimes it fills a void within us that comes about by being in awe of his or her creation. Either way, it enables us to quantify his or her engagement with the world around him. I'm an actor. My life is a testament to this duality. George Burns said that acting is all about honesty. If you can fake that, you've got it made. And he couldn't have defined it better. Honest and fake, yes, that's what I feel as a creative person all the time. Let me tell you my schizophrenia. Creative expression comes from the deepest experience of the artist himself. A good artist cannot be separate from his creation. Good art is honest art. A man may be an artist, a writer, a sculptor, an actor, or a totem pole carver. Whatever he is, if what he creates is true to himself, it becomes a vivid testimonial to human creativity. If it lacks honesty, its entire premise is a waste. At the same time, and quite paradoxically, a man becomes distinct from his creation from the moment it is placed in the public domain. It no longer even belongs to him. So it comes from your gut, and it is put out there for others to accept it or throw it in the gutter. Many a nights I have gone back home after receiving an award, pumped up and all happy, and just to read on the internet that what I really deserved was the golden banana for the worst actor of the year award. Yeah, it's called Kela Awards or some shit like that, yeah. And I become heartbroken, angry, and completely convinced that bananas and critics both should have their skins peeled and fed to the monkeys. I momentarily lose my ability to give and close up. And here's where the trick is. When you are in this place of despair, when you walk out of this college, this university, and walk the path of life, where the world is tearing you down into yourself, there's only one thing you can do to survive. Hang on to who you are inside. The world will be unkind to you. It will not be able to see you. You must learn at such times to be able to see yourself. Life as a created person is like walking on a tightrope. I have to keep balancing. I have to keep the balance. I begin to lose myself in my own melodrama. It is frustrating that I find myself living up to other people's interpretation of what I ought to be. And when faced with dissent or unappreciation, I start losing my love affair with my own audience. It becomes a tight balance act to keep doing what I do best and not be bothered by the reactions of the people I do it for in the first place. I dance harder, I cartwheel longer, and I pirouette on my rope, stretched taut beneath my feet, and I try not to slip. I can slide but never fall. And all this while, I have to keep a smile on my face and keep signing autographs and taking pictures. And why do I do this? Because I'm a funambulist, trying to balance my action and exterior reaction to my naked show of who I am inside. Yet when I'm playing this real-life illusion out, more often than not, my honest self is sitting in the audience, applauding my performance while laughing heartily at my own stupidity. So my little kids and friends here, learn to laugh at yourself too. Never become cynical about yourself or your life. Becoming cynical about your life is the single most destructive thing you can do. For you have to remember, creativity is your gift to the world. It was never meant to be barter for anything, not even appreciation. You have to dig deep. I do it, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, I do it while drinking vodka and listening to really sorry songs. But you guys have to find less destructive ways to do this. At least till you become my age. But you have to believe that you create only because this is the biggest gift you have to give to your world. And maybe that's why we even call God a creator. It's not about the cars or houses, it never was. These are peripherals. They never come about because of your talent or your creative outpourings. They come out of a business that people around you do. Those people are in the business of barter, not you. Yours is the business of giving and learning. Your work of art may never be complete in your lifetime. Your fulfillment will always lie in your creative expression, not in its product. So look beyond the brickbats, the critics, and know within you that you always have a choice between barter and creation. Life as a creator will always be a tightrope. So do not try to feed your stomach with creativity. It is food for the soul, not your stomach. Do not be afraid to defy conventions. Do not be afraid to destroy systems that kill art and your souls. Do not be afraid to be hungry. And do not be afraid to walk alone if necessary. Because on a tightrope, we all walk alone. And remember, if you're a creator, you're a funambulist. And not very many people know what it means, let alone be it. So be a funambulist is my prayer to all you creative people here at Yale tonight. The second thing I want to tell you, and I'll go over it fast before you get too bored, is love your punching bags. Just as my life has centered around creativity, like every fellow human beings, it has also centered around the wish to find happiness. Your age is the age when we most confuse happiness with gratification, so I will quite plainly tell you. If you are smart, if you want to survive life's relentless onslaught of challenges, you will sooner or later understand that the things that make you happy 10 years ago will end up being the ones that make you happy when you hit the geriatric super stage also. So kids, start collecting your action figure heroes now. I have everything I could have aspired for at your age. I have success, I have fame, I have wealth, and I have 3 PlayStations. I do. I have one for the house, one for shootings, and one just in case because I can have one more. But none of these... But none of these have any consequence to my happiness. The only thing that does it is the love of my children. You don't have children. I hope. Not yet. And if you have, don't tell the master. But you have parents. And you have people you love. And nothing in this world of everything means more than that. Happiness, in other words, lies in the things you will never be able to count. To me, it is no more than cuddling to my kids and watching iCarly or The Family Guy. Yeah. I think Family Guy is very cool. And then I think iCarly is also very sweet. Yeah. Most of the time I do that. The other day, my son and I stumbled upon Kama Sutra on the net. And I can tell you that experience was not very happy. He's 14, and he knew more about the poses than I did. That sucked, yeah. I want you to understand this business of happiness well, because I know at one level, all parents are actually the same. Some look sterner, some are less fun, some are embarrassingly weird. But for each parent, the bottom and the top line of their lives is this: you kids are the greatest source of happiness. Parents want nothing in return. Just that you respect that feeling, that's all. I'd like to narrate an incident of my own children. First of all, let me be very clear. I do believe girls are from the planet Venus. My girl comes from a place of gentleness, caring, love, intelligent, and all things beautiful. My boy comes from, I'm too good to be your son planet. And I know this may make me very unpopular, but I wanted to say this while I was flying here, that if one thing that you take away from this lecture tonight, I want everyone to know, boys are obnoxious. Yeah. They are philandering, lying, cheating, supercilious, sneering, snobs. Girls are good. Yeah. लड़कियों को पटाने के लिए ऐसा करना पड़ता है. But I believe that. I like girls. I think girls are much better. I was in London shooting and missing my kids, and I'll give you an instance. Being from the boring school of people who send writings to their kids in the hope of making them better human beings, I sent my daughter this verse from a poem by E. Cummins. And you guys should read the poem. It's fantastic. And this poem is for all the girls here. So I want to read this out. I do not know what it is about you that closes and opens. Only something in me understands. The voice of your eyes is deeper than all roses. Nobody, not even the rain, has such small hands. And this is for all you girls, and the only smaller hands is, I guess, this little kid who's crying there. But wait. I sent this message to my daughter, and I instantly received this text message in return. I love it, Papa. It is beautiful. I'm going to write it in my secret diary with the secret lock and keep it in my secret hiding place under the Katy Perry and Lady Gaga poster. I love you, and I miss you. I'm too excited watching Hunger Games tonight. And feeling bad that I hadn't texted something meaningful to my darling son, I sent him something I had read too. How are you, my son? I wrote. I miss you. Do you know a boy is someone that a mother loves the most? Little girls hate him. He is truth with dirt on its face, beauty with a cut on its finger, wisdom with smell in its hair, and hope of the future with a frog in its pocket. I love you. He replied back with one letter of the alphabet. No, it actually is very close to you. It had a but in front, and says but, and it had the Y of Yale. Why? I mean, like, so why are you sending such boring messages? And of course, there was an emoticon, one of those squiggly little things, which I can't make out what they're expressing. I wanted to fly to Mumbai and hang him upside down till he looked like a silly-faced emoticon himself. But I didn't. I just smiled. And both replies made me feel love for my kids. Whatever they do, as long as they're happy, it makes me happy. So I speak to you as a parent of two very weird kids. Whatever you do, whichever mistake you make, however you react to them, your parents are your best friends. They might be boring, silly, or stern at times. Maybe some of you are embarrassed of yours. I know my kids are of me. But if ever any of you are in trouble, of any kind, the best friends you can always trust to watch your backs are your parents. They will always come good. I lost my parents very early in my life, and I miss them dearly. So all of you who still have yours, don't listen to them. Fool them if you must. A bit of lying is also welcome. But make sure you cherish what you have, because when you don't have them, like me, you really miss someone to be rude to, someone you can take for granted, someone to say and do whatever you wish with. You miss the comfort of being loved unconditionally. I call parents unconditional and forgiving punching bags who feel happiest when they get bashed up by the kids. If you want to survive life, it's best to begin to respect the gift of love right now. As children, your first teachers of this acceptance are your parents. If you're unable to accept the love they give you, in whatever form it arrives, even if it's in the form of a tight slap across your faces, then when you become a parent, you will end up having to learn this lesson somewhat more harshly from teachers you give birth to. Those are your kids. And learning Kama Sutra from my son is not a great idea, you would agree. Incidentally, he studies in the school that Isha's mom runs in India. I have to say, ma'am, your syllabus is quite different from the one I used to study when I was 14. She's insisting that she will get Kama Sutra in Yale also very soon. And the last bit, a fiendish friend called failure. Whether I like it or not, my life has also been in constant play with what the world calls success. Success is a wonderful thing, but it tends not to be the sort of experience that we learn from. We enjoy it, perhaps we even deserve it, but we don't acquire wisdom from it. And maybe that's why it cannot be passed on either. Me being successful does not mean my kids are going to be successful, even if I teach them everything that I know and how to do it. So I feel that talking about success is completely a big waste of time. Instead, let me tell you very honestly, whatever happened to me happened because I've always been terrified of failure. I don't want as much to succeed as much as I don't want to fail. I come from a very normal, lower middle class family. I saw a lot of failure. My father was a beautiful man and the most successful failure in the world. My mother also failed to stay long enough with me to see me become a big movie star. We were quite poor, actually, and let me tell you, poverty is not an ennobling experience at all. Poverty entails fear and stress and sometimes depression. I watched my parents go through this several times. At an early age, after my parents died, I equated poverty with failure. I just didn't want to be poor. So when I got a chance to act in films, it wasn't out of any creative desire. I say this honestly. It was purely out of the fear of failure and poverty. Most of the films I signed were discards of better-known actors, and the producers could not find anyone else to do them. I did them all to make sure that I was working to avoid unemployment. The timing or something was right. I worked very hard. There were other people around it. And I became a big star. The films became big hits, which means sometimes our success is not the direct result of our actions. And let nobody tell you that. Success sometimes just happens, really. It is accidental, and we have to take credit for it. I do it sometimes sheerly out of embarrassment. So I believe the true path to success is through the fear of failure. If you aren't scared enough of failing, you're unlikely to succeed. It's not pleasant to fail, it's tough. All of us experience it. You will too, if you haven't already. So use it to succeed. How I've done is, a few points I'd like to say, and then I'll end this monologue. Firstly, it's not the absence of failure that makes you success, that makes success. It is your response to failure that actually helps to buffer the reverses that you experience. I personally have one response to failure: pragmatism. A recognition and belief that if one approach does not work, then the other will or might. Failure also gives me an incentive to greater exertion, harder work, which invariably leads to later success in most cases. Repeated failure has taught me to stop pretending I'm someone else. It's given me the clarity to stick to things that really matter to me instead of distracting me from my core. Failure also gets you to find who your real friends are. The true strength of your relationships only gets tested in the face of strong adversity. Overcoming some of my failures has made me discover that I have a strong will and more discipline than I suspected. It has helped me to have confidence in my ability to survive. Failure is an amazing teacher. There's a well-known story of this very successful man, and a reporter asked him, "Sir, how is it that you always succeed?" And he said, "Right decisions." I said, "How do you make right decisions?" And he says, "Experience." He says, "How do you get so experienced?" He says, "Wrong decisions and failure." So do fail, and it's all right to fail. You have to know and learn that life is not just a checklist of acquisitions, attainments, and fulfillments. Your qualifications and CVs don't really matter. Instead, life is difficult and complicated and beyond anyone's control. The humility to know it will help you survive its vicissitudes. This is the second big word that I'd learned. Yeah. But I don't want to sound dark. My hope for all of you is that you retain a lifelong love of learning, that you never cease to dream exciting and inspiring dreams. And when you fail, you fail well enough to succeed the next time. Don't be afraid of being afraid. Be afraid of not facing your fears and failures. As I was coming here, and this is my dream, I was telling the press outside when I walked in here, I sent a message to my little daughter who's 11 and a half, my son 14, and I said, it's one of the most beautiful institutions I've seen in my life. Genuinely, you guys are fortunate to be studying here. And I really wish my kids are good enough like you, all you young boys and girls and all the parents who've helped them do this, are good enough to reach here and study and get this opportunity. So I wrote to my daughter and said, so pretty and nice and beautiful, I wish you could come and study here. And she sent me back a long message, as she always does. Is it pretty, Papa? Is it nice? It is snowing there, because I told her last time I was here it was snowing. And my son sent me one alphabet, K, which I have understood when you extend means okay. Yeah. And for some reason, he's also written, Papa, Chuck Norris has trained his dog to pick up its own poop. Because Chuck Norris will not take shit from anyone. So remember, all boys and girls, that you're fortunate enough to be funambulists. You have an amazing set of punching bags. Your parents cherish them always. And failure is your fiendish friend. Keep him close. And as my son sent a message, don't take no shit from anybody. God bless you. Thank you very much. Thank you. You're all very kind, and I wish you all the best in life. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right here.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Over here.
Well, hello everyone again. I've discovered that if I ever become a movie star, you can't see a thing up here.
You can't.
Yeah, no, not a thing. So my name is Jeff Brenzel. I'm the Dean of Admissions here at Yale. These are my people. I'm the master of Timothy Dwight College. I lecture in the Department of Philosophy, and I keep the flame for the Chubb Fellowship, which I'm incredibly happy to say has brought SRK to New Haven. So I just want to tell him right now in front of God and everybody here that I think his chances for admission here to Yale would be pretty good. And we're hoping he's going to have time to drop by the office to fill out the application before he leaves. So here with me to ask a few questions is Nikhil Sood, who was born and brought up in New Delhi, India, and attended St. Columba's School, which was SRK school. He then came to Yale, where he received his bachelor's in economics in 2010. Economics, just like SRK. It gets more eerie as you go. While at Yale, actually he departed from Shah Rukh's career, and he founded Yale Hindi Debate, a national level competition in the United States that takes place entirely in the Hindi language, and it's now in its 5th year. He's currently a student at the Yale Law School. We're going for a dual language country here sooner or later. While he hasn't yet charted out his career plans, he did tell me that he's got one goal: to get Mr. Shah Rukh Khan to follow him on Twitter. No.
Nikolai,
Not yet. He hasn't achieved this goal yet. Then we have Sarika Arya, who graduated from Yale College in 2011 with a double major in ethics, politics, and economics, and also theater studies. Her parents emigrated from India to America, where she and her brother were born and raised until they moved to London for several years. While here at Yale, Sarika studied international affairs, human rights activism, and the use of theater to impact social change. She's currently working as a Woodbridge Hall Fellow at the Yale Office of International Affairs. Next year, she's off to London School of Economics. So please welcome the guests.
Well done, both of you.
We had some questions. Everyone had their own particular question that they wanted to ask Shah Rukh, and we're going to start with Nikhil.
Hello, Mr. Khan. I felt you spoke really, truly inspiringly about valuing creativity and about facing your fears. My concern is I feel there are many students out there who are passionate about creativity and are also generally brave people who can face their fears. But in spite of this, they choose safer, more traditional, non-creative paths in life because they feel the creative path is simply too risky, no matter how brave they are. And even though they love creativity for its own sake, not for bartering it for money, they feel they'd still need to be able to pay the bills, and that might not happen. So for a person who is devoted to the arts, but due to certain practical realities of the world, selects a non-creative path, is it possible for such a person to lead a truly happy, fulfilling life? On a personal note, I'm really worried because I'm a huge fan of creative writing. And I did a lot of that in school and at college, but now I've chosen law school. And I console myself by saying, so what if you're not writing movies or TV shows? You'll still be writing legal briefs and legal memos. And I think, while on some level that makes sense, I think it's an extremely depressing thought. And I do feel like somebody's stepping on my oxygen tube, but I fear that the alternative might feel like somebody simply cut off my oxygen tube because I won't be able to pay my bills. So my question really is, and I ask this on behalf of everyone like me, can I be happy? And if so, how?
An easy one.
An easy one, yeah. Nigga, let me tell you, you've got problems, dude.
I know.
I mean, but I tell you how I've done it. I did theater, and I truly believe in being very creative, very artistic, and a very serious actor at times. I really do. When I see a lot of work that is being done around by other actors in my own country and outside, I feel envious at times that I have not been able to do that. Because like you said, when I came on to Mumbai, and I would say this to all the kids, that yes, surviving is the most, that's what the whole speech was, that I'll teach you how to survive. I'm not going to give you any thoughts about that, listen, it's all right to go on top of Himalayas and do your writing, creative writing, whether anyone reads it or not. No, it's important that people read it. It's important it becomes a bestseller. As a matter of fact, I very shamelessly say I am the most capitalist human being that you will ever find on the face of this earth. I truly believe that you need to find a place where you can make the choices that you want to make. You cannot just say, I had a friend who was a creative writer and who fortunately still is not a lawyer. And he wanted to write books. And he's working here in America, New York actually, Benny. And he asked me one day, his father died, and he said, I want to write books. I want to write creative stuff on spirituality and goodness, and I don't want to write anything else. How am I going to survive? My father's dead, my mother's not being able to look after me. And I said, you go down and start working in an advertising company where he started writing. I do remember, this is a joke we had in college. I don't know if it is still here. It was an innerwear ad, with a like a Calvin Klein underwear model, and you write, it's for everyone, every Tom, Dick, and Harry. And so which you say if you have to write this stuff, you write it and earn the money, pay your bills, don't let them cut your oxygen tube out. But after you are in that position of choice, don't misuse it. And that's the one thing that I decided to do. I do a lot of advertising. A lot of people question me on the uncreative bits of work that I do. I think out of 10 things that I do, I think 7 of them are highly uncreative, and very disturbing at times. I have a big bathroom now. I sit there and cry after having done those things. Yeah, I genuinely do, I'm not lying. I want kids to know this, that yeah, I do that. I'm like, I don't want to do this, but I take the money from that, and I would like to be able to create a production house, a filmmaking institution, which would do the creative stuff which I wanted to do when I was 25. It may get a little late. It may happen when I'm 50 or 55. It may not have happened when I dreamed of it at 26, 27. But I'm sure that I will make the right choices. So please, all you kids, do not get waylaid by anyone who tells you it's wonderful to be creative and poor and hungry. No. You can't be that. You have to survive. You owe it to your parents. You owe it to your life. Be well, have good cars, have a good television, have 3 PlayStations if you need. But when you get into that position of choice, make sure you don't cheat with your choices. So that's one thing. So do your legal briefs. And on the side, when you have become this really famous, wonderful lawyer, saving convicts and, and criminals, go into that bathroom, cry a bit that you saved another criminal today, but with the money that you earn from that mafia don. Write a good story.
All right, Sarika.
All right. So India is a country of hundreds of languages, cultures, religions, customs, and so on. And as a result, the country grapples with divisiveness on many social issues. But your films have created a truly devoted and united fan base that's united in their love of you, Shah Rukh Khan. And they're united across ethnic and national boundaries, even outside of India. Yet at the same time, some of your films do deal with social issues. So My Name is Khan, it confronted racial profiling after 9/11, and Chak De India discussed bigotry and sexism.
Those are the stories that I write.
There you go. But at the same time, you also do have films that are sheer entertainment. So what is it about your work that appeals to and unites audiences that are normally at odds with each other? And also, do you feel that films have, or maybe they already have, a role in discussing or examining social issues?
I think they have, but if they make it their prime concern, then they don't remain film. They don't remain entertainment. I say this to everyone. It's a little saying that, messages are for the post offices. They're not for entertainment. You don't give messages through entertainment. I'm a big believer of that. You need to entertain people, 2.5 hours in a dark room. Come back, have fun, enjoy yourself. And entertainment can be sad, it can be morbid, it can be bright, it can be colorful, it can be as silly as some of the films that I do. But I truly believe that the reason I think I was analyzing it, I keep analyzing it because everyone keeps asking me, how did this happen that people everywhere like you? And I cannot go beyond the answer that it has to do with my dimples. I've never, it's the most intellectual answer I've been able to give myself.
I understand.
Yeah. And you see how far you go with these dimples.
I'll keep you posted.
But I think the reason that my cinema or the kind of films, I think I got a little fortunate that in the 90s when I started working, there was a time when 80s was the time of a lot of aggressive films and ugly bell bottoms and big collars and strange hairstyles in Indian cinema. And somehow the younger generation, which was kind of me also at that time, I was 24, 23, they all wanted to have a little more love amidst them. Not anti-establishment work, not anti-social work. They just wanted to have feeling of love. And I think I did a lot of films like that. So whether it was Dil Wale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge or Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. And I think as cliched as it may sound, but it makes me believe that love really is the universal language, So you can be in a country with 100 different languages, as you stated, and I come down to Yale, to America, to London, I go to South America, and people in Germany who don't speak our language at all. And they all seem to like that cinema. I asked one lady, a 60-year-old lady who actually took the first Indian film to Germany. She used to work for a big television studio, and I asked her. So I was sitting with her at night, and I said, why do you want to do Hindi? Why do you guys like Hindi films? I go and shoot in Germany, and there are like hundreds of Germans who love our films, and they don't speak Hindi at all. They just say, Achtung, Achtung, Achtung. No Hindi at all. Nothing, They make these guttural sounds, but they don't speak Hindi. And they look very imposing because from the outside, we all have preset notions of each country and country people from there. And I asked them, I said, why do you like Hindi films? Why do you like this kind of cinema? So they told me that I have a button to drive a car. I put on a button and the car starts. I have a button to make coffee. I have a button to go up and down. In Germany, we didn't have a button to cry. And you give us that button. Your films give us that button. And I think, and so I equate these two things. I think love, as beautiful as it is, also makes you cry. And in a good way, sometimes in a bad way. But I think the togetherness of this, I think the whole human community around the world, you will find two universal truths. They all love and they all cry. And I think if your work, if your writing, if your job can deal with that without knowing it, you will be bringing social changes. You don't need to make an attempt. I think you just need to say the truth and say, this is a little about love. For a father-son, for a father-daughter, for a man-woman, for a mother-son, for a teacher-student, it's a little about crying. And when you write stories like that or show stories like that or incidents like that, I think it just unites us because we all do go into that bathroom and cry. So we all have that bathroom and I think we all feel like loving. So I think, I think if you keep it as simple as loving and crying, each cinema, each theater, everything will have its social impact.
Thank you.
The man who gave the Germans permission to cry. A life. That's fantastic. Shrika, honestly, if it weren't for my good friends here among so many South Asian students and faculty here at Yale, I wouldn't know your films. South Asian Film Society has been spreading the gospel here. A lot of people are becoming attracted to this cinema. But of course, I came not as these two students, but as an outsider, to Indian cinema. I'd heard of something called Bollywood, and I fell into the trap that many of us do of thinking that actually meant something, that it was in some kind of relation to Hollywood. And then when I first started watching the films, I realized there's no Hollywood takeoff here. That's not what's going on. The films were like nothing I'd ever seen. They had their own language, they had their own world, they had their own way of seeing things. Mostly, I have to say, this incredible enthusiasm for life. They were fantastically original, which was just a startling experience. I didn't know of the existence of this world. So I wanted to ask you, what do you see happening as Bollywood, as Indian film, as Indian cinema? You're always doing something new. But that influence is expanding. It's moving out into the world in some very remarkable ways. Is Indian movie making influencing Western movie making? Is Western movie making creeping into to Indian cinema? Are these ships passing in the night? Are they talking to each other? I'm dying to know what you think about this.
Yeah, I think, our cinema is very unique. And I remember hearing Quentin Tarantino at Cannes, and he said the only reason, and I just want to point out, it's the only film industry in the world which has survived Hollywood.
Yes.
Yeah, all the film industries, whether it's Japan or any place in Europe,
yes.
The local cinema kind of has been taken over by the more popular, commercial, wonderful Hollywood cinema that is made. I'm a big fan. India has survived that. We still make the largest number of films, and the reason for that is that we still believe in stars. We believe that there are people who can lead us. We don't think a movie star is just a professional. We look up to him or her. We think of him or her as role models. I'm the wrong one. Don't ever do that. I've been hiding in the gully and smoking and stuff. I'm a bad boy. Yeah. But the whole system of looking up to someone or trying to find a hero has made Indian cinema survive. Having said that, our stories are very unique, very culturally based, and of course we have this uniqueness of what used to happen in the 60s in Hollywood. We are musicals. Yes. We break into a song and dance anytime. So yeah, he was saying it so kindly, I remember he was being so wonderful and said, you know, I was startled by them. It's bloody shocking.
I was.
What we do on screen, yeah, I know. It's like, why are they dancing? Yeah, so we do that. And actually, our films are like a variety show, a cabaret.
Yeah.
Because, like she said, we have 100 languages. We still live in one family households. So the grandmom's there, the grandchild is there, the great-grandchild is there. And all of us watching cinema is the only escapist route we have in our country. We don't have skiing slopes, we don't have car racing, we've got a little bit of sports coming in, our television just started. So what happens is you need to have that area where you want to say, listen, I'm not bothered about life. For these 2.5 hours, I'm going to be overawed by this fun. And the grandmom says, I want to hear actually something spiritual. So we put spiritual. And she says, I want to see this cool guy with dimples dancing. It's okay, cool guy. Yeah? And you say, I need to be startled. So here, startling you. So we put everything in it, you know, and unabashedly so, and happily so, and celebrate life, because life, I think, has all of it put in, you know, life has never been that you don't sing. You sing while shaving, and you have a fight, and there's no isolation of emotions in real life. Everything is happening together. And it's wonderful when I see Western cinema that it isolates emotions. It's more linear. There's more storytelling. There's more character-driven stuff. But I think our cinema, because it is just celebration and celebrative, it makes you feel a little attracted to it. You know, you say, okay, let it be now. I'm just going to sit down and watch this and have fun. A lot of technology from Hollywood, people like myself and the younger actors and directors want to take it on, because I think technically the Western cinema is about 40 to 50 years ahead of us, and we need to bring it to India. That's the only way we will be able to come up in the international market. We are about 0.002% of world market as far as economics go. We make the maximum number of films, but in terms of economics, we are very small. The only way we can do that is not change the language of our films, the technology and the technique of storytelling. You know, we do it in, we do films in 3 acts. We have an interval. You know, I have to tell you this incident. I made a film called Ashoka, which was about Gautam Buddha and Ashok. It was a great film, I thought. And unfortunately, sorry to have to mention it, it released on 9/11, so it kind of tanked, didn't do well. And I was showing it to an English set of audience just before I came here. And the film went on, and it's really long. We make 3-hour-long films, you know. And so before they all entered, so I had all these British people saying, why do you guys have intervals? What does it mean? Why should we have to break into, you know, it breaks the whole sequencing of a storytelling. So I said, I'm sorry, but we have an interval. After 1.5 hours, they were like holding my hand. Why don't you guys have the interval now? So our cinema looks after everybody's wants and desires, as and when they crop up. But we... But yeah, there is a whole mix together. I think technically, if we do better, we'll have more world cinema audience watching it. And story-wise, I think our stories are about hope and simple hopes. You know, and they're not too outlandish, though it seems so sometimes. Everyone tells me Indian cinema is unrealistic, but it's as realistic as the President of the United States sitting in Air Force One and going and destroying a meteor. And we say, oh, wow. Yeah, it can happen. But ours are as unrealistic. And I think the stories should remain culturally bound in terms of the simple hopes and simple ideologies, while the technology, I think we should start taking, and we are already from Hollywood. A lot of studios have now opened up in India, and there's this huge give and take, and it's fantastic for world cinema, I think. And I'm here in America, and I'm not doing it because I'm here, but I genuinely want to thank all the studios in Hollywood, because I've been interacting with them in the last 5-6 years. My Name is Khan was actually made by Fox, and they were kind enough to release it, as we would really like it to be shown to everyone. So there's this huge synergies that are happening, and I think, Indian cinema is really gaining from it, and hopefully one day you'll not be so startled by our films.
So just some advice for my fellow white people who are not Germans in the audience, because I know that you haven't watched enough of these films. This is something to go home now and do, and I hope it inspires you that you've heard a little bit about it. You will want to relax. You'll want to have a very comfortable couch. You'll want to be surrounded by some nice food and some family and friends. And a grandmom. Grandmom should come visit while you watch Indian films. Nikhil, another question?
Okay, so you've achieved so much in so many different fields. You're a globally successful and adored actor and producer. You own a cricket team. You're a philanthropist, and I think you're a real role model for all of us. My question is, what next? And I know that you maintain that you always want to keep making people smile. But is there a specific kind of film or project that you really want to do and haven't yet done? I suppose what I'm asking is, what is the biggest, most exciting, most motivating thing on your to-do list, if you have one?
No, Nikhil, I'm sorry, I've been just very, like I said in the beginning, that I just work towards my dreams and just keep running. I don't know where I'm going to stop, and things happen along the way. I started wanting to be a soccer player. I did economics, I did mass communications, my master's in that. And everyone thought I'll do something intelligent, but I became an actor. And I came to Mumbai for a year because my parents died. I told my wife, I said, we just go for a year, come back. I told all my friends that, I'll be back in a year because they kicked me out of there. It's 21 years, and I'm still there. So things just happen, and I realized the core is really, and my job, and as an entertainer, and people may look down upon it at times, people may be happy with it, some people may not appreciate it, but my bottom line is, whatever it takes for me to do to make you feel happy. So if you want me to say a dialogue, I'll do it. You want me to take off my pants and dance, I'll do it. See, as long as I'm being very honest, I can turn around and give you a big spiel about what next and the kind of stuff that I want to do, take cinema to the next, stretch the boundaries and extend the reach of Indian cinema to global recognition. But no, I just want to make you smile. So if you tell me, I have this huge dignity of labor thing in me, that whatever I do, I've done street theater, and I've done big films like Ra.One. It was a dream to bring visual effects into the country. My kids wanted to see a superhero film. And so I do all that. And I never think of the business behind it, to be honest. And whenever I come, wherever I go, whichever place I'm in, if people tell me, listen, Shah Rukh, can you say a line from this film? And I say, yeah, if that makes you happy. If somebody tells me, can you just get out of this party, that'll make me very happy. I say, yeah, get out of the party. So I don't have, I want to make a studio. I want to make a stadium. I want to make my cricket team win. I have a lot of thoughts, a lot of dreams, and but through all this, I hope I'm able to make people smile doing that. Even while I lose with the cricket team, I hope people smile a lot while I'm losing. So that's the only thing. And I think if you keep it basic and simple, that's the best way. I think that's, so yeah, I want to make an animation film. I want to remain young, to be able to romance with my son's girlfriend. I've got some stupid ideas too, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Saraka, one more quick one.
Okay, so your appeal is universal, and it inspires astounding devotion. In fact, many of the audience members here today have traveled far distances to see you for this short appearance. And also, we'd love to thank you for traveling halfway around the world to see just us.
Thank you.
So you talked a little bit about this fan base that you have among the Germans, and I heard it's also in Poland. So maybe you could talk a little bit about what's up with that. And then I also know that you evoke a frenzy that some people would go so far as to describe as religious. And I was wondering, how do you feel about that, and how does it affect your mission to create honest art? And do you think it's sustainable? I mean, if all of this ends, how do you think you'll come to terms with just being your honest self, just being human?
I shoot myself.
No, I hope not.
Okay, so it's not ending then.
I truly believe, I'd be very honest, I didn't know how it started. I truly believe this is never ending. And when you say this, that you have these people in Poland, and you have in Germany, in Japan, in Malaysia, Southeast Asia. I have woken up, I was shooting a film called 1 2 Ka 4 many years ago in Indonesia, in Malaysia. And I was very tired. And I went down to this small little house, and I slept on the chair. And when I woke up, I had this 40 family members sitting. And they were all looking at me like this. So I got up and I was very awkward because, I woke up in some unknown person's house. And when I sleep, when anyone sleeps, you don't look too good. I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah, it looks very, very, very un-rock star-like. So I was this thing, and they had their hands like this. They had a little temple with my picture in their house. Yeah, and I was really taken aback that the stuff that I do, which is mostly monkeying around, falling down, singing, just having fun for 8 or 10 hours a day on my sets, actually invokes this kind of reaction. And the first thing I realized, what you asked me, is that the one thing I will never ever do is take myself seriously. I will never try to intellectualize what I do. I would like to be as silly as I was when I was 4. I would like to do exactly the same thing that I did 20 years ago, because when I go back 20 years ago, there's a new set of audience which is as silly and comes and appreciates it, right? So you have to keep on doing that. I've never tried to take myself more seriously. Like I was reading it here when they were showing that I've got 100 awards or been nominated for so many. I've got the Padma Shri and I have this wonderful fellowship. But I am not going to ever become more serious or intellectual because I have all this. I'm going to do exactly the same stuff. I'm going to have fun, and that's why I believe it'll never end. It'll never end, because the day I start intellectualizing and taking myself seriously, my art seriously, and what you asked me just now, that, how are you going to make sure that your art is serious and honest? I think it's going to be honest as long as I'm silly and stupid and childlike and innocent and naive and an idiot. As soon as I become an intellectual and I become serious about this stuff, I think I'm going to lose it. I'm going to be, sitting somewhere in some big hall giving a lecture about how art should be the most important thing. I don't want to do that. I just want to keep on being stupid. That's it. I think to all your kids, please, just be silly and idiotic.
I can live with that.
So, speaking of which, you've been sitting around for a long time. You had a long plane ride to get here. You feel like moving around a little bit? Yeah. So,
can I have a mic? Because you know what? Because he's not been introduced to Hindi cinema properly. I'm going to make him say a few dialogues. No, I want to handle one if I.
Can we have a mic? Can we just have just any mic? Because
No?
he's got sound. We just need a mic.
Do you want to fake
Any mic.
like a...
No, it's okay. Don't tell him to do that. It's not. I'm telling you to be silly. Don't be that silly.
I've made that mistake. All right. There is no.
Okay,
There is no
I'm
mic.
gonna because
Got a mic
he's,
here.
because he's
Microphone.
watching. Oh yeah, thank you.
Oh, we've got a microphone. There we go.
So because he's been introduced to Indian cinema, I'm going to teach him. I'm going to teach him some of the Indian dialogues that I've done from some of my films. Because so you have to say it after me, okay?
All right.
So I'm going to teach you a bit of Hindi. So the next time you watch a Hindi film, you'll understand it a little better.
I do speak German.
Oh yeah, okay. Achtung. All right, so I do a dialogue from Kuch Kuch Hota Hai? Oh, Don, okay. Oh, Don, okay, I do Don. Don is a film I played a bad guy in. So they're saying you should do it from Don, okay?
Am I a bad guy or
You're
good guy?
you're the bad guy.
I'm another bad
Yeah.
guy. Okay.
So we need to, just stand a little. That's, I'm going to use that in my next film when I'm playing a bad guy. That's cool, yeah. Okay, so say,
We do it together.
डॉन का इंतजार तो 11 मुल्कों की पुलिस कर रही है सोनिया. Too long?
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to do the dialogue. I'll do the actions. You just do the actions with me, okay?
Okay.
All right. And just keep moving your mouth so it look like you're speaking.
Ah, okay.
Right, so.
I can do that.
डॉन का इंतजार. They love you. डॉन का इंतजार तो 11 मुल्कों की पुलिस कर रही है सोनिया. लेकिन डॉन को पकड़ना मुश्किल ही नहीं, नामुमकिन है. That's a makeshift gun.
I see.
Do you think was he cool being Don or not? Tell me. Okay, and I'm gonna request him because okay. See, that's how Hindi films are. They make you silly in a second. All right, so I'm gonna request everyone. You guys also come on stage. I'll do a little chamak chalo for you guys. I can do a little dance. You'll also have to do it with us.
We have Yale's best dancer, Natalia Kozla.
Okay.
Let's do a little background dance.
Girl, you're my chamakachalo. Where you go, girl, I'm gonna follow. What you want, girl, just let me know. You can be my chamakachalo. Shawty, I'm gonna get ya. You know I'm gonna get ya. You know I'll even let you be my chamakachalo. Kaisa sharmana aaja nach ke dikhane. Aa meri hone aaja pari da girane. Aa meri akhiyon se akhiyan milane. Ab tu na nakle dikha. Wanna be my chamakachalo. Wanna be my chamakachalo. Wanna be my chamakachalo. Wanna be my chamakachalo. तू मेरी चमक चलो, तेरी पिक्चर का मैं हीरो. Give it to me, दिल मुझको दे दो. You can be my चमक चलो. Shawty, I'm gonna get ya. You know I'm gonna get ya. Maybe I'll even let you be my चमक चलो. कैसा शर्माना आजा नच के दिखा दे. आ मेरी होने आजा पारी दा गिराने. आ मेरी अखियों से अखियां मिलाने. अब तू ना नखरे दिखा. Wanna be my चमक चलो. Wanna be my चमक चलो. Wanna be my चमक चलो. Wanna be my चमक चलो.
Goodbye, everyone.
Wanna be my चमक चलो.
Thank you everyone. Once again, guys, thank you very much. Thank you, Nita. Before I go, I really want to thank all of you for genuinely, from the bottom of my heart. This is the most fun I've had in the last 2-3 months. So, thank you, Nita. Thank you, Isha. And all you wonderful people for coming here. I'm being so patient. And I feel with all, because they told me this is a serious evening, so I've really been intellectually stimulated by this dance. I hope you guys have also been, and I'm so glad you take little children into Yale also. But thank you so much. I can't thank you all enough for your kindness and goodness. God bless you. And you do well. Thank you.